very careful and dressing them on the other side now. Before we start, I just want to take a moment to apologize to you guys for the lighting and everything else the last few videos. Not so much the lighting, but the picture quality itself. Whilst I was down in the Caribbean, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, about a couple months ago, my prime lens broke. To fix it is $700. I'm only got $700 now, so I'm using the kit lens. So I do apologize for that. At some point I'm gonna replace that lens and we'll go back to the quality that you're accustomed to. Let's talk about the fish. I've got 4 small mackerel, and the fishmonger cleaned it out for me, cut the belly out, he trimmed out, well, one of them he did trim, but give it a quick little pass over with the scales, because I don't think they have scales. But it's nice and clean. I washed it with the juice of half of a lemon and water, and I drained it relatively dry as I can drain it out. If you're squeamish about the heads on fish, you can chop those heads off. I'm from the islands. I really don't see a problem with it. And as with all the recipes I share with you guys, I try to make it as simple as possible because I really want you guys going out there and having a good time. As we continue July's month of grilling, I thought, hey, why not make this simple as well? I've got about quarter cup, about a third of a cup of good olive oil there. To that, I have my homemade Caribbean green seasoning. If you haven't seen that recipe yet, head over to youtube.com/Caribbean pot or on CaribbeanPot.com, and I'm gonna go with a heaping tablespoon of that into the olive oil. Caribbean green seasoning, if you're unfamiliar with it, this is gonna go back into the fridge. It's a puree or a blend of all the herbs we like using in the Caribbean, along with seasoning peppers and garlic and everything else. I do mine in olive oil, so it maintains that nice vibrancy and color and stuff like that. So 2 ingredients so far. Now, while there is garlic already in my Caribbean green seasoning, I might want a bit more garlic in this sort of dressing. So we're gonna toss in 2 cloves of garlic in there. Boom, bam, look at that. It's that simple. Salt, I'm not gonna salt the fish, but I will put some sea salt in this sort of marinade, this sort of dressing there. We'll need some black pepper. Give it a nice dose of that black pepper. A tiny bit, maybe about half a teaspoon of curry powder. This is optional, but it adds a lovely flavor to things. And you can see, you can already tell this is going to be a spectacular, however simple dressing. I've got 1 scotch bonnet pepper that I sort of diced up finely. No seeds, because for most part the seeds and the white membrane surrounding the seeds, that's where all of that heat is going to be, and I'll show you what I mean. I went on the outside. Now wear gloves and remember to wash your hands with soap and water immediately after you touch a piggy. You'll be in problems. But anyways, this here, now if you're a gardener, you can dry this off and you can plant that easy, but that is where most of that heat is going to be. Give that another quick stir. Just look at that. Can you guys see that good there? I don't know, because without the prime lens, I also broke the monitor that goes on top of the camera that allows me to see a nice big 10-inch screen of everything. That said, small thing. We're gonna pull back the fish over here now. If you wanted to open up the belly or the cavity here and salt and black pepper, that's cool. I'm only rocking it so because I'm trying to cut back on the amount of salt in my diet. So all I would do is give this little oily dressing here. Boom, it's going all over the fish. That's going to go all into the belly and everything. I'm going to rub my spoon all in there, and you're going to go on both sides. The other thing I would recommend, if you wanted to do and give it a few cuts here, you can do that as well. Totally up to you. So again, you just give that a nice little dressing like so. Let that sit for about 10-15 minutes. Reserve about half of that dressing, yeah? Because as it grills, we're gonna brush that on there. These are all seasoned up properly, all inside the cavity and everything. We are outside now. I'll be using my charcoal grill, which is already set up over there. However, if you wanted to use your propane grill, you can certainly do that. If you wanted to do this inside in the oven, you can do it as well too. And I'll just sort of explain what I have here. And what I mean is, I have charcoal screaming hot on this side, screaming hot on this side, but the center, it's where it's sort of like a lower heat, and that is where I'm going to put the fish first. Then I'm going to finish it on the outside to get those nice char, and that char on the skin. And you know, the mackerel has that natural oil as well too, which will pull in a lot of flavor. Before I start, you know, if I had cooking spray, I would use cooking spray. I'm clean out of cooking spray, so the same oil that we'll be using, hey, why not flavor up the grill as well too? Yeah, so I'm just gonna pass that on there. And it's just a matter of laying these beautifully seasoned mackerel. And you can use your favorite fish if you want fish steaks like swordfish or snapper or king cavalli. Did I just say king cavalli? That's two different fish. Kingfish or cavalli, you can do that. What I'm going to do now is put the lid on there. I may have said earlier that we're going to brush it on, the sort of the marinade we left back. And you can pick up any of the marinade that was left in the bowl that we started, the plate that we started off with. After about 3 minutes on that one side, I flip them over. Be very careful. And we're dressing them on the other side now. And by the way, if you're wondering, when we had the dome over the lid on there, the grill was running at about 375 degrees. Over the direct flame, I had it on there for 3 minutes. I'm just going to pour some more of that lovely oil that we started off with. Now be mindful, ladies and gentlemen, if you are serving this to kids, well, you probably shouldn't, because they're, as you can see here, there's a ton of bones, man, so you really got to be careful about that. Then a bit of sea salt, and finally a bit of lemon juice. Yeah, one of those couple seeds just snuck on there. Hey, all your frontish dread. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irene. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Grilled mackerel as we continue with July's month of grilling. You just got to be gentle with them on the grill. If you wanted to wrap them in banana leaves or in foil, you can certainly do that as well. But you really want to get that char. That brings out a ton of the flavor. Irene.